Hello, and welcome to the first entry of Beating Borderline. And basically, what this is going to be about is about my borderline personality disorder, which I was diagnosed with a couple of months ago, but which we've seen signs of for months leading up to that. And basically, what this entry is going to be about is what borderline is for those of you who don't know, and for those of you that do, a little bit of a refresher in case it's faded a little bit. And this entire thing is just going to be me spreading awareness of borderline personality disorder because it is a problem and it needs to be addressed. So, with borderline personality disorder, the reason that it's called borderline is because it borders on many other mental disorders. And that medley is different for every single person that gets it. I mean, for me, it's a big mixture of depression. Depression is very, it's in a lot of borderlines and it's in a lot of other mental disorders as well. It's hard to come across any disorder without having depression or at least lingering effects of it. And anxiety, that's another big one that's with a lot of other things, but even without disorders, you can have anxiety and depression. I mean, it's just, those are parts of life. And then bipolar disorder. And for those of you who don't know what bipolar disorder is, basically, I'm going to go by ace while doing these videos because that's basically what it is. Like an ace in a game of cards, it can either be the lowest card or it can be the highest. It can be aces low or aces high. And for aces high, that's the happiness, that's the great, wonderful feelings of being at the top. And then their aces low, it's just at the bottom, the lowest of the peasants. So you can be highest of the kings or lowest of the low, and that switches so quickly for a borderline. Normal bipolar disorder, it'll last for a couple of days, but for me, mood swings, that's another big one. I'll switch between those two areas very quickly. And what borderline personality disorder is caused by is basically past trauma, and we're going to call this CRAAP, or crap. So C is criticism. If you've been criticized heavily as a child, if you feel like every single thing you do is going to be judged, that'll cause trauma, and that can also cause borderline personality disorder. R is rejection. If you were rejected a lot, or if one of your parents rejected you as a child, that's another big one that can cause that. Okay, A, abuse, and then the other A is abandonment. Abuse can be physical, mental, emotional, sexual. It's any kind neglect. That's another big thing of abuse. If you've been neglected as a child, that can cause many types of mental disorders. And this crap thing, this isn't just for borderline personality disorder. It's any type of trauma that can cause disorders. Okay, the next A, abandonment. If you were abandoned, if one of your parents left you, if you had a lot of domestic violence or divorces in your childhood, that's another big thing. And then P is punishment. If you were unfairly punished or you feel like everything is unjust whenever you were a child, then that's another big one. And borderline personality disorder, it usually isn't diagnosed until you're in your mid-20s. I'm 13, and it was diagnosed for me because most of the time the borderline snap is caused by trauma in relationships. And I had an argument with a good friend of mine, and it put me into a mental hospital because of, not a mental hospital, a behavioral health facility. I can't get put into a mental hospital because of my age, but there's just, because my behaviors are so irregular, that's one of the reasons I got put in there. And this isn't, you may notice that I'm not really wearing formal clothing because this isn't going to be a formal type of thing. If you're here watching these videos, it's because I'm trying to spread awareness through my words, not what I wear. And if you judge me by how I look, then you're not judging me by what's going on inside, because what's on the inside is what really matters. And I know that may sound cliche, but there's a lot of stuff going on inside that isn't seen that needs to be acknowledged. because what's going on inside is infinitely more important than what's on the outside. And if you can see that someone's struggling on the outside, if it's spilling over, if whatever disorder they have is spilling out, that's whenever you know for sure that they need help. Because on the inside can be conquered with the right kind of help, with people supporting you. And the reason that I'm spreading awareness for borderline personality disorder is to let people know, like, if you have this disorder, or if you think you might have something similar to this, then you need help from other people. You need other people to try and understand. And if they don't understand, then you just need people there to be with you, because I know you might want to isolate. That could be the main thing that you want to do. I want to isolate a lot, to just be alone by myself, because that's where other people can't hurt me, can't get to me. But whenever you're by yourself, it only gets worse. And you need to be with other people. Otherwise, it's just not going to work out for you. You're not going to solve any of your problems. And so, another big thing for borderlines is, yes, it's caused by trauma, but it's also caused by misunderstandings. If there's simple miscommunication, it can cause more than you think it should cause for a borderline. We can overreact at the slightest thing. Words that you might not think are offensive could be very, very offensive to us. I'm sorry for moving around so much. I'm just trying to get a comfortable position here, because this is a thing that I need to feel comfortable talking about, because it isn't something that I can share with everyone. If you have any other questions about borderline personality disorder, just leave a comment, or just like ask some questions or stuff in the comment section, and I'll do my very best to answer it, but I'm not a doctor. I can't do everything. So I guess this is Ace signing off on Beating Borderline.